Sunday previews and tips from Man on the Spot on ARC Day. We and #X27 V got all the views from connections and Man on the Spot verdicts ahead of a massive Prix de L and #X27 Arc de Triomphe Day at ParisLongchamp. Click here for race card and live Sky Bet odds. The first of 6 Group 1s on a stellar card is the Qatar Prix Marcel Boussac. Charlie Appleby saddles Wild Illusion and #X27 half-sister Ceratonia, who was narrowly beaten by the reopposing Rocques in a Group 3 here last month. She and #X27 a half-sister to Wild Illusion, but they are slightly different types, said Appleby. Wild Illusion wears cheek pieces, which definitely help her, whereas Ceratonia has worn a hood, and we and #X27 retaking it off this weekend. We were happy with her last run. I think that experience will bring her on and hopefully she has a live chance. Richard Hannon and #X27 star terms, Saeed bin Suroor and #X27 Dubai Beauty and Aidan O and #X27 Brien and #X27 Pink Dogwood are also in the mix. O and #X27 Brien said, she and #X27 progressed with every run and won in Go-Run last time. She and #X27 been in good form since then. We always liked her and she and #X27 had 3 runs now. Aidan O'Brien and Charlie Appleby have won the last 4 renewals between them and both are represented today. The Ballad Oil Feely Pink Dogwood improves with every start and won a maiden by 7 lengths at Go-Run last time, while the Godolphin filly Ceratonia made a winning start at Ascot and ran a big race when second in a Group 3 over track and trip last time. She's preferred to Dubai Beauty but found the unbeaten Rocques too good here, and Fabrice Chaput's Charge looks the one beat again with further improvement on the cards. Star terms is not out of this for the Hannon yard on her second in the Mayo at Doncaster, while Matica may improve past the likes of Lily's Candle and Lagrantic Itherin. Click here for race card and live Sky Bet odds. The juvenile colts get their chance to shine in the following Qatar Prix Jean-Luc Lagardier. The likely favorite is Freddie Head and #X27 Senator, who is unbeaten in 2 starts to date, while the rating party is headed by the Hannon train Boytron, who has won each of his 3 races in the colors of Middleham Park Racing. Middleham Park and #X27 racing manager, Tim Palin, said, "We hope he and #X27 high class." We and #X27 V circumvented Group 3s and Group 2s to pitch him in here, and I think he deserves to be there. The horse is in good order. We own 50% and Gerard Augustin Normand owns 50%, and he and #X27 LL run in his colors this weekend. It was either come here or go to the Dewhurst, and to be honest, the Dewhurst does look too darn hot this year. We and #X27 retaking on the likes of Ballydoyle and Godolphin, which is an honor itself. Broome represents last year's winning yard, but the Ballydoyle colt will need to step up on a recent second in Group 2 company at Leopardstown, while Royal Marine and Dark Jedi are others with something to prove, having only won in maiden and novice company respectively so far. The former beat a subsequent winner at Doncaster, however, and steps up in trip along with listed winner Boytron. Richard Hannon's colt remains unbeaten after landing the Washington Singer Rover 7F at Newbury in good style, but Senator is another putting his unbeaten record on the line. Freddie Head's Charge had Shaman back in third when winning a Group 3 over course and distance with the minimum of fuss, and will likely start a warm order for this. Click here for race card and live Sky Bet odds. Kew Gardens leads a 5-strong team for Aidan O and #X27 Brien into battle in this year, and #X27 Qatar Prix de L and #X27 Arc de Triomphe. It is 11 years since the Ballydoyle handler first claimed Europe and #X27 Premier Middle Distance Prize with Dylan Thomas. O and #X27 Brien doubled his tally with Found in 2016 and launches another strong assault. numerically at least, on the ParisLongchamp showpiece on Sunday. Kew Gardens is the yard and X27's chief hope under Ryan Moore after providing his trainer with a 6th victory in the Street Leger at Doncaster 3 weeks ago. X27 Brien said, "Everything has gone well since the Leger and we and X27 we've been happy with him since. He has won around Longchamp, he won the Grand Prix de Paris there. He seems to be in good form. We were training him for the King George in the middle of the summer and he just had a setback with the rest of the horses, stable bug, so that in X27 why he didn't in X27 get to go there. The apparent second string is Donaka O and X27 Brien and X27 Mount Capri, who won last year and X27 Street Leger before beating just one home in the Arc at Chantilly. The grey son of Galileo made a successful start to the current campaign in the alleged stakes at Naz in April, but has run just once since, finishing 5th of 6 in the Prix Foy over this course and distance last month. O and X27 Brien added, "We thought that he would improve nicely from the last day and we and X27 we've been happy with him since." Magical, Wayne Lorden, Hunting Horn, Simi Heffernan, and big outsider Nelson, Michael Hussey, complete the quintet. John Gosden is taking nothing for granted with hot favorite Enable, but everything has gone to plan since her comeback at Campton. She traveled last night, she went through the Channel Tunnel early. Aidan and X27 like them to arrive once racing has started because then there and X27 a lot of movement, Gosden told ITV Racing. It hasn't and X27 been a straightforward year, but it and X27 been straightforward since she came back. I think the betting says who the dangers are, but the Arc is the Arc. You can be a short-priced favorite and it doesn't and X27 mean much when the gates open. CF class is seen as Enable and X27 main danger following her wins in the Irish and Yorkshire Oaks, although she has apparently not fared quite as well in the draw with stall 15. And while Team Enable have plenty of experience of the Arc, for William Haggas it is just a second-ever runner after his Derby winner Shamit came up short. Her owner, Mrs. Tsui, has had 2 runners in the Arc, Urban C, who won, and the second was See the Stars, who also won, so she and X27 got an unblemished record, Haggas told at the races. Mine is very blemished. I and X27 V had 1 runner in the Arc, Shamit, who finished 8th and got injured in the race. So I and X27 D like to have another go and it and X27 nice to go there with a chance. We were very pleased with her at York, as we were at the Qatar, but obviously she and X27 got bigger fish to fry now. But, she has a change of speed and that is as crucial as anything in a horse race. The great thing about her was she won 2 listed races, but then missed her Group 3 and Group 2 and went straight into a classic. She was asked to do quite a lot at the Qatar and coming from where she did, but she managed it. After that, the next option against fillies was the Yorkshire Oaks against her elders and she was impressive again. Obviously, it is very competitive and my friend and rival up the Barry Road, Gosden, has a great chance. He and X27 D like lots of rain whereas I and X27 D like none. There are also lots of other horses, the Arc is always a championship race. This is all about last year's convincing winner Enable. Unbeaten in 5 consecutive Group 1 contests last season, John Gosden's brilliant filly made a belated winning reappearance at Campton last month and can confirm running with last year's runner-up Cloth of Stars despite the worst terms. The latter and stable companion Talismanic filled the places behind a third Andre Faber runner in August in the Prix Foy here last time with Capri, Way to Paris and Clincher further behind. Kew Gardens won the Street Leger in good style last month having also landed the Group 1 Grand Prix de Paris over track and trip earlier when Nuffisk finished second. He looks best of Ballydoyle's 5 representatives, but Sea of Class goes from strength to strength, having won both the Irish and Yorkshire Oaks during the summer and may turn out the biggest threat, despite a modest draw. French Derby winner Study of Man has struggled in subsequent starts while Defoe and Saloon looks up against it. Click here for racecard and live Sky Bet odds. Charlie Appleby is hopeful Wild Illusion can claim another top-level success in the Prix d'L&H27 Opera at ParisLongchamp. The daughter of Dubai won the Prix Marcel Boussac on Arc Day last season. She began the current campaign by finishing 4th in the 1,000 guineas at Newmarket, 2nd in the Oaks at Epsom and 2nd again in the Ribblesdale Stakes at Royal Ascot. Wild Illusion rediscovered the winning trail and dropped to 1.25 miles for the Nassau Stakes at Goodwood, and she sticks to that distance on her return to France this weekend. Appleby said, "She came out of Goodwood in great order and hopefully she goes to Paris with a great chance. I think we saw at Goodwood that 10 furlongs is right up her street and I can X27 see any negatives, to be honest. With the way the weather is, we and X27 quite relaxed. She has form on quick ground and slow ground, so we and X27 not too worried either way." Wild Illusion is the likely favorite in a 16-strong field, with the William Haggas-trained Urban Fox, Sir Michael Stout and X27 Desert Diamond and Saeed bin Suroor and X27 Winter Lightning also making the trip from Britain. Aidan and X27 Brien saddles Magic Wand, last year and X27 winner Rhododendron and Athena. He said, "Magic Wand is in good form. She ran a very good race there in the Vermland Wedon and X27 think the drop and trip will bother her. Rhododendron seems to have come out of the Irish Champion well and Athena ran a good race in the Irish Champion and seems in good form since. Lady Frankel was only beaten half a length into 3rd place 12 months ago and trainer Andre Faber is expecting her to be involved once more. I quite fancy Lady Frankel. She and X27 a good filly and I thought she should have won the race last year, she was very unlucky," said Faber. She and X27 been lightly raced this season for a reason. I and X27 been aiming for this time of year. This looks a good renewal with Ribblesdale winner Magic Wand, runner-up in last month's Prix Vermel here, making most appeal of the Ballydoyle trio ahead of last year's winner Rhododendron and Athena. She drops back in distance today but Prix Roscoe winner With You is back up and trip having gone close in the French Oaks at Chantilly back in June with Casteller behind. A winner on this card last year, Wild Illusion, Nap, is another with strong claims after returning to her very best in the Group 1 Nassau Stakes over today's trip at Goodwood in August. She needs to reverse earlier running at Ascot with Magic Wand but beat Urban Fox a couple of lengths in the Nassau and the latter has subsequently suffered a narrow-margined defeat in Group 1 company at Deauville, with both Navarro Girl and Lady Frankel behind, so the form looks pretty solid. Charlie Appleby's filly should make a bold bid in this but the other Godolphin filly Winter Lightning and Desert Diamond look up against it. Click here for racecard and live Sky Bet odds. Connections of Badash are unsure what to expect when the star sprinter defends his crown in the Prix d'L&H27 Nabe at ParisLongchamp. The Charlie Hills trained 4-year-old was a brilliant winner of the 5-furlong Group 1 at Chantilly last season and produced a similarly jaw-dropping display of raw speed when winning the King George Stakes at Goodwood in August for the 2nd year in succession. However, just like last season, he returns to Paris after finishing a lackluster 4th in the Nunthorpe at York. Angus Gold, racing manager for owner Hamdan Al Maktoum, said, "I believe they and X27 very happy with him going into the race. Obviously he and X27 on a bit of a recovery mission after York, but it was the same last year and it didn't and X27 stop him then. If he and X27 at his best, he and X27 the one they and X27 all got to beat, but you never quite know what to expect." which is part of the attraction with him. Just 3 weeks separated Battis and #X27 Goodwood drop and his below-par effort at York, whereas he has had 6 weeks to prepare for his latest assignment and Gold thinks the extra time could prove key. He added, "I do think he goes well fresh. Even though it looked like he won easily at Goodwood, he does take a lot out of himself and maybe he was a bit flat in the Nunthorpe because of that." Battis is one of 2 runners for Sheikh Hamdan, with the Freddie Head-trained Stantham having been supplemented following successive wins. I and #X27 been surprised by how much speed she and #X27 shown as she and #X27 only a small filly, said Gold. We gave her a break during the summer and she and #X27 come back really well since. It might seem a bit strange to supplement her to take on our best horse, but Sheikh Hamdan was happy to do so in case Battis does and #X27 fire. Havana Grey claimed Group 1 glory in the Flying 5 at the Qatar 3 weeks ago and trainer Carl Burke believes his charge is in even better shape now. He is in fantastic form. He and #X27 really stepped up since winning the Flying 5. It and #X27 almost like he knows he and #X27 won a big race, said the Spigot Lodge handler. I could and #X27 be happier with him going into the weekend. It and #X27 another tough race and I respect Battis and a number of other horses, but I and #X27 am very hopeful. Stall